Guys, and welcome back to another video on measurement. In today's video, we're just going to use some of the rules we learnt in the previous lesson to calculate the area of composite shapes. Now, composite shapes are shapes that are made up of multiple different shapes, and we'll do some examples. The first thing that we're going to look at is, well, how do we calculate the area of composite shapes? So we've got a couple of steps we need to follow. The first one is we're going to split the shape into individual parts. Now those parts need to be different parts that we know how to calculate the area of. Then we're going to label any parts with any missing dimensions. So if there's certain areas that might be missing dimensions, we need to fill that in. Then we'll calculate the areas of each individual part. And then you're going to add or subtract the areas to calculate the total area. So let's do some examples. So here we have a composite shape, and we can see that it's made up of multiple different shapes. The first step was to cut the shape into different individual parts that we know how to calculate the area of. So we're going to cut this into a triangle, a rectangle, and a square. And then what we'll do is we'll label any missing parts. So we know that this is 3 because if this is 4 and this little section here is 1, this bit here would be 3. This in total is 9 because we've got 1 and 8. Now we want to calculate this distance here, the base of the triangle, so we can work out the area of the triangle. So if we know that this section here is 7, so the rectangle is 7, and the leftover bit from 9 and 7 is 2 centimetres. So we know that this is 2 centimetres here. We're going to label each section of our composite shape so that when we do our working out, it's easy and clear for us to see which parts we're looking at. So we'll label A1, A2 and A3. Now let's do some working out. So we'll start with A1, and the formula to calculate the area of A1 is length times width. So our length is 7 centimetres and our width is 3 centimetres. So length equals 7 times 3, which gives us an area for A1 of 21 centimetres squared. A2, again, that's not supposed to say length times width, it's supposed to be half base times height. Oh, I see what we've done. I've accidentally labelled these wrong. This is supposed to be A2 and A3, but A2, so we'll call this our A2, is 1 by 1, which gives us 1 centimetre squared for this section, this part here. And the last part, which is this one over here, is half base times height. So half times 2 times 3, because we've got our 2 and our 3, and that gives us an area of 3 centimetres squared. Now to get the total area, we're going to add each section together. So A1 plus A2 plus A3. So 21 plus 1 plus 3 gives us an area of 25 centimetres squared. Do not forget your units and do not forget your square for your area. Okay, here's another example we're going to do. In this one, we are going to be subtracting 2 areas from a total area. So let's first split these into different shapes. So we have a semicircle here and a triangle here. And then our last shape would be our rectangle. So what we will do is we will calculate the area of our rectangle and take away these 2 missing bits. So let's label any bits we don't know. So we know that this section here is 6 centimetres because it's 2.5 plus 3.5. Which means that this one here, this bit here, is 2 centimetres as the base of our triangle. We're going to label this A1, A2 and A3. Again, A1 equals length times width, which means that A1 is 4 times 6, which gives us a total area of 24 centimetres squared. A2 is half pi r squared because we only want half of the circle, so we're going half times pi times 1.25 squared. Now it's important to note where I got the 1.25 from. 2.5 centimetres is the diameter, But to work out the area of a circle, you must use the radius. So we had to divide the 2.5 by 2, which gives us a 1.25 centimeter radius. So in total, we get 2.45 centimeters squared. And A3 is half base times height. So half times 2 times 2, because it's 2 and 2, which gives us an area of 2 centimeters squared. Now to calculate them all, we're going to go A1, take away A2, take away A3. So we get 24, take away 2.45, take away 2, which gives us an area of 19.55 centimeters squared. If you have any questions, please make sure you ask. Otherwise, I will talk to you in the next lesson. Thanks, guys. Bye.